Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here, basically, we are talking about one of the topic that is currencies. In currencies, ideas, global warming, and global warming solution. And solution basically contains 12 number city. 12 number solution is city creation. In this, basically, we are discussing about one solution basically that is visa, and visa basically inside visa basically the cricket was the one solution, and from cricket basically we reached to the businessman basically, because direct cricket basically investment is not there in the environment basically, because the whatever disease, whatever medicine basically it gets basically, that basically is got by the set of businessmen. That means basically somebody is telling that basically we will handle the cricket. Cricket is not supposed to come in front of the world basically, because it's connecting the black money. How basically that is, that basically the software industry basically might be knowing who actually created this software basically, how basically it has collected, connecting to the black money basically. So like this basically things basically are there. So here one of the businessmen told that basically, uh, can we get the glacier data basically, how many glacier data is of our basically. Then the one of the nuclear power person told that basically that's basically you can't get here basically, because whole world basically buildings basically, for example 1 lakh is your, 1 lakh is of other than Indian basically. So according to that basically you have to prepare basically. This is just taken as an example. In real basically it might be 1 crore, 1 crore. So like this basically things are basically there, right? So in glacier basically it might be like that basically, construction industry, that is the building. So building data basically might be this much glacier basically. If this basically get increase, then basically the temperature will get increase, and if temperature will get increase, then basically the businessman will be the responsible person basically, and businessman basically given the authority to the army group. So army groups basically gets connects. So army group basically gives the information to the businessman basically, that you are basically investment basically is getting over than the temperature basically. Over than the temperature means investment is basically got over basically of your investment basically. The investment which you are doing, that investment is basically become over basically. So for this basically you have to do something basically, and they basically according to they do the plans basically, which type of plan basically they do basically, that they only basically might be doing. They basically do the, they basically don't do the, for example city creation basically, who can do the city creation, that basically government officers and the basically private groups like IITs, IIMs, and big college basis colleges per colleges basically have the certain level of plans basically. One person told that basically, do you have the plan of potato creation? Then they told that basically yes, we have the plan basically. In this basically we required 1,000 buildings, 3 malls, and this many offices, and this many lake is required, this many trees is required. So literally they design the plan basically, yeah, to create the potato basically. These all are the things basically required basically, and they have the material also basically, that have the, they say that basically this is the software basically. On the base of the software basically we are going to generate the entire potato basically. So just see basically, one software basically creates the city design basically, and on the base of city design basically they generate the city energy from the software, and from the software basically set of data are there basically, and from that data basically they generates the potato energy, and from that potato energy basically they generates the potato basically. So just see up to what level the IITs, IIM groups basically has reached. So here basically cricket is not directly connected. They are basically connected with the businessmen. That's why basically one of the person told that basically, why basically in cricket basically there is nothing basically happening. For example, one match is ongoing. Why basically it's earthquake basically is not happening. Why the things basically are bad things basically like bomb blast is not happening. This that basically like this also basically, like this basically clear the thing basically, that businessmen basically are investing the money basically. That's why basically the cricket is not getting the effect basically. That means somebody basically is trying to save the cricket. That also you can save it like this basically. Somebody is trying to save the sports basically. That also you can say. So one of the persons told that same way basically the education level basically is getting saved. Same way basically the sports industries also basically are getting saved basically by the set of groups basically. So whatever group basically might be, that basically that's might be his personal basically. So in future anything is going to happen from the sports, then he only will be responsible person basically. So that also basically somebody cleared it basically, that if anything is going to happen on the base of the sports basically, then that businessman only going to be responsible, because government knows that data is like that. Businessman energy, under businessman energy, cricket energy, this energy, those energy, like this energy basically are there. And businessman basically is from which country basically, that is the upper priority. So like this basically things are basically connected. So one of the person told that that's why basically cricket basically never comes in front of the world basically. That's why you basically never able to track that basically the earthquake happen. But earthquake happens basically. The earthquake basically happens basically. But you basically never able to track that basically. That earthquake is happening basically while playing the cricket. Basically. While when the cricket basically is getting played basically, that time basically you might have saw that basically the earthquake is happening basically. Then that earthquake basically are connected with that particular businessman also basically, who is the basically sponsor of the particular match basically. So yearly basically more than 1600 cricket gets played basically, and in 1600 cricket basically few basically businessmen basically sponsor are outsider, and few people basically are within Indian people basically. So they do the investment basically, and according to the investment basically the investment happen, and according to that basically the visa basically gets connects to this investment basically. So just see basically up to what level the visas also basically connected, and how basically the visas are connected with the cities also, that also you can say. So this is also basically one of the part of the visa basically, that if this is also one of the parameter of the visa, that basically cricket basically has taken basically, but visa basically has taken as a cricket parameter basically, but it is connecting to the businessman data basically. So one of the person told that basically the visa when gets issue basically, that might be getting named some, that visa basically might be connected with set of businessmen basically, that this many visa has for example 1 lakh visa is issued by the American, that is H1B visa. So that 1 lakh visa is basically sponsored by this all businessmen basically. They literally say the name basically, that this is the name basically, 1 lakh H1B visa basically has issued, and these all are the businessmen basically who invested this money in the USA basically. Like this basically things are basically there basically. So like this he told that basically, like this 12th number basically is city creation. In city creation basically we are discussing about the topic that is visa, and here basically the cricket basically also comes into the picture. But cricketer basically never got the information that basically on the base of there basically the earthquake basically is happening basically. On the base of there basically the earthquake is happening. Reason one, cricket basically is the entire roadmap of the earth planet, that from like this basically the earth planet is going to move, this side going to move, that side going to move, this side going to move, that side going to move, like this the investment basically connects here. And like this basically the entire cricket match is basically designed. Who basically designs that? Basically the software industry basically only designs. That's basically the USA, and might be Canada, and might be Bangalore also basically. It might be any country basically. It might be Russia also basically. Any country basically might be. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this cricket industry, visa industry, and how basically it's connecting to the cities industries, and how basically the roadmap basically of our planet is designed on the ways of sports industry basically. So here basically we are talking about the visa industries.